So you're a doctor in Mexico and you've got this dream, right? To open your very own practice. But then you think about all the paperwork, the bureaucracy, and it just stops you in your tracks. Well, you're not alone. In the next few minutes, we're going to take that mountain of confusion and turn it into a clear, step-by-step roadmap. Let's dive in. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for so many doctors, isn't it? Having your own space, building relationships with your own patients, and practicing medicine exactly the way you want to. It's all about creating something that is truly yours. But then reality hits. All of a sudden, you're not just a doctor. You're trying to be an expert on permits, tax laws, and all this bureaucracy. It's a lot. And honestly, it's probably the #1 thing that keeps amazing doctors from making that leap. But that's exactly why we're here. We're going to untangle all of that complexity for you. Think of this as your guide to cut through the red tape and turn that overwhelming journey into a series of clear, totally manageable steps. Okay, first things first, before you even think about a location or what color to paint the walls, the foundation is you. Your professional credentials have to be perfect and completely up to date. We're talking about your registered professional title, your current professional license, your cedula, and, of course, if you're a specialist, your certification. This is the absolute non-negotiable starting point. Once your own paperwork is squared away, then we can talk about the physical space. And you can't just set up shop anywhere. You absolutely need a commercial land use permit. Plus, your facility has to meet the specific infrastructure rules in the official Mexican norm, NOM 005. And this covers everything: safe electrical wiring, proper ventilation, sanitation. It's all about keeping you and your patients safe. All right, now this is a really key decision. Are you planning a pretty straightforward one-on-one practice? Then a Type A office might be perfect for you. It's got a basic consultation area and you can have a shared bathroom. But if you're planning to do even minor procedures like suturing, you have to level up to a Type C office. That means a private bathroom, a whole separate area for procedures, and much, much stricter rules for handling biohazardous waste. Now, this right here is a huge deal. Before you can legally see a single patient, you have to file what's called an aviso de funcionamiento, or a notice of operation. This is basically your official announcement to COFEPRIS. That's the big health regulatory body, letting them know you're open for business and you're meeting all the health standards. It's the key that officially puts your practice on the map. And you know what? Getting it is probably more straightforward than you think. The whole thing is handled online through a platform called DigiPris. The main thing you need is for your sanitary manager, we'll get to them in a sec, to have their advanced electronic signature, their FIEL. And here's the best part: filing the notice is completely free. Speaking of which, let's talk about this person, the responsable sanitario, our sanitary manager. This isn't an optional role, it's mandatory. This is the medical professional who is legally responsible for making sure the entire clinic follows every single health regulation. This can be you, or it could be another doctor you appoint. And their job is absolutely critical. They're overseeing compliance with, well, everything. A huge part of their role is keeping something called a carpeta normativa, a regulatory file. You can think of it as the clinic's compliance Bible. It has to have everything: staff credentials, pest control certificates, waste logs, you name it. They're the ones ensuring everything from medical charts to admin is done by the book. And that sense of responsibility carries over into the day-to-day operations. When it comes to the daily grind, proper documentation is king. Your patient files have to strictly follow the NOM 004 standard, which is all about protecting patient confidentiality. You also need to have super clear, written-out protocols for routine care and for emergencies, all kept in a secure filing system. And, of course, you can't really be a doctor without the right tools. There's a list of mandatory equipment you have to have. On the furniture side, that means an examination table, chairs, a desk. For medical gear, you've got to have the basics: a blood pressure monitor, a stethoscope, a scale. And, this is a big one, you need the proper, specially designated containers for all biohazardous waste. Okay, deep breath. We've waded through the medical and regulatory stuff. Now it's time to switch gears and talk business. Before you can make a single peso, you have to register your practice with the SAT, Mexico's tax agency. This is your official first step to becoming a business owner. This brings you to a huge financial decision. Which tax plan do you choose? This slide lays out the two main options perfectly. On one side, you have Resico, the simplified regime. It's awesome for practices making less than 3.5 million pesos a year because the tax rate is super low, just 1 to 2.5%. But here's the catch: you can't deduct your expenses. The other option, the standard business activities regime, has no income limit and you can deduct your costs. But the tax rate climbs as you earn more, going all the way up to 35%. So let's talk real numbers. What does it actually cost to get started? Well, based on a case study, the average upfront investment for furniture, essential medical gear, and all those initial permits comes out to around 425,000 Mexican pesos. That's a pretty significant number you'll need to plan for. And of course, the costs don't just stop once you open the doors. You've got monthly operating expenses to cover. In that same study, when you add up fixed costs like rent and salaries, plus variable costs like supplies, you're looking at almost 72,000 pesos every single month. So what does all that mean? It really boils down to this number, 90. To cover those monthly costs, the clinic in the study needed to see at least 90 patients a month. And that's not to make a profit. That's just to break even and keep the lights on. It really puts the whole financial challenge into perspective, doesn't it? So if you're in that business activities regime, how do you manage that bottom line? Deductions. This is your secret weapon. And basically, almost everything that's essential for your business is deductible. We're talking rent for the office, medical supplies, utility bills like power and internet, staff salaries, and even buying new medical equipment. You've just got to track everything meticulously. Look, let's be real for a second. This is a lot. The complexity is very real. You're expected to be a fantastic doctor and an expert in business, law, and accounting. That's why the single most important piece of advice from our source is this. Do not try to do it all yourself. Build a team. Hire the experts. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Good management is just as important as the medical practice itself. At the end of the day, a clinic that is financially healthy and legally compliant is a clinic that can provide the best possible care for patients over the long haul. The business side is what makes the medical side possible. It is definitely a challenging path, there's no doubt about it. But with a clear plan and with the right team of experts by your side, it is absolutely achievable. So I guess the only question left to ask is, are you ready to build the practice of your dreams?